Welcome back, Middle Age Grind, and I'm coming to you today from my pickup truck heading to the office. I'm actually going to the dump to get rid of some boxes. I put together some exercise equipment yesterday for a friend of mine, and thought I'd do this video. I've done one from the vehicle before last year. I think I was picking up my brother-in-law from the airport, and it was along the causeway. But I said, let me try this venue. The audio was pretty good. Hopefully it comes out good. And what I want to talk about today is a topic of what would my what would my 43-year-old self tell my 13-year-old self? Basically, if I can go back in time 30 years, what advice would I give myself? And the reason why this came up, I like watching YouTube and different types of videos, and I'm sure all of you do too if you're on here. And there was a video came up I saw over the weekend, and it was a family home video of a Boston trip back in the 90s. And it was with the old handheld camcorders kind of thing. And it was just interesting to see these people's trip, because we took a trip last year, our family, to Boston. And it was to some of the same places. There's a place called Quincy Market, and it's just like a food hall. And that pretty much was the same. I don't know if the stores were exactly the same, but it was similar. But, the people dressed a little different, clothes, and there was no big people. Everybody was pretty thin. It's just interesting takes on things. And I thought, what would my 43-year-old self today, I made 43 a couple weeks ago, tell my 13-year-old self if I can go back in time? And I think this is a good exercise going forward too. If I'm lucky enough to make it to 73 in 30 years, what advice now would I give myself? And as I look back on that, I thought about that a little bit, and I said to myself, I really don't have a lot of regrets. Hardly any. I mean, I remember 30 years ago, my family, which my mom and dad and my sister, we took the longest trip we ever took that summer. We drove to Washington, D.C. from Louisiana. And we stopped in Virginia. We went to Civil War battlefields and the White House and museums, and it was just a really cool trip from what I remember 30 years ago. And I was going into my 8th grade year. And so much has happened in that time period. Of course, I went to college, met my wife, future wife. We've had 4 children. I started my career with State Farm in that time frame. And I look back at it, I have absolutely no regrets. I mean, even in, career-wise, I think I made a pretty good choice. The only thing you look back on, and it's not really a regret, but it's in sadness, is the loved ones I've had. I've lost so many people who were close to me. All my grandparents, some great-grandparents who even that summer, 2 of them passed. My mom's grandparents, my papi and Momo Vic in 95, within 2 months of each other, they passed. And I knew them. They were great people. And then I look at all my grandparents, my dad, in that 30-year window I'm talking about. And I think it's the biggest takeaway I've had from this exercise is that I think you need to cherish the things that you have in your life now, because the one thing that's constant in all of our lives, there's going to be change. We're going to lose people. Time marches on. Do I want to keep saving money and trying to lose weight? And absolutely. And those are noble goals. And I think I've always been one who's very goal-centric and oriented. But, I have a 13-year-old daughter right now, and she's starting summer workouts for volleyball, and I kind of remember that too with football back in 30 years ago, kind of thing. What advice would I give to her? And it would be, just live life to the fullest, have no regrets, cherish the people you love, because nothing stays the same. And that would be really cool if I could come back 30 years from now and from this video and maybe reflect a little bit. But what I'd like to see in the next 30 years. It's a long time, but hopefully all my children do well for themselves and find happiness and success and can support themselves and be contributing members to society. Hopefully in that time, my wife and I can retire and hopefully, travel a little bit and enjoy some of that kind of stuff. But in the meantime, life is just middle-aged grinds. The name of this channel. Look, this week I got my third daughter, Stella. She needs to have braces, $3,700. And I'm in the middle of it. I mean, it's challenging at times, but it's a challenge that I embrace. And hopefully, like I say, I look back at this video and can say all those things one day come true down the line. But man, I know a lot of you are older who are watching this, but you always hear when you're a kid, time flies. That trip I'm talking about, we did to Washington, D.C. It was during July 4th, 1995. I remember we were in D.C. for the fireworks they had. And man, when I tell you, that does not seem like 30 years ago, but it sure as heck was, and think of the world and all the things that have happened since then. And, time's always changing, but just a different topic wanted to share with you today, coming to you from my Toyota Tacoma on the way to the dump to get rid of this stuff. And I hope you have a great week, and I'll continue to hopefully bring in good topics to you, and I'll see you real soon on the Middle Age Grind.